Welcome to Mommispace. My name is Brianna Bernhard, your hostess, and I am a new mom. I selfishly created this podcast to get some advice and inspiration from the moms in my community who are doing amazing things while raising their families. I've realized motherhood is hard, but knowing I'm not alone in this call makes all the difference, and I hope you feel refreshed as you listen. Welcome to the tribe. Welcome back to Mommispace. This is Bree, and today I am here with Brittany Omenaka. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yay, good. I got connected to you through Chantel Nelson, who we had on the show earlier. So for those of you who haven't listened to that, please go check it out. You won't be sorry. She's awesome. And I'm very excited that she recommended I chat with you. You guys have kind of a similar dynamic in that it's a interracial marriage and family, and I love that. And I'm excited to talk to you today about your journey into motherhood specifically. So before we kind of get into that, though, will you just tell the audience a little bit about yourself? What's life look like? Where you located? All that stuff.
Yeah. So I've been living in Redding, California for about the past 5 years. But I'm originally from the East Coast, West Virginia, to be specific.
Wow.
Yeah. My husband, he's actually a pastor at the School of Ministry here.
Oh.
And yeah. And we have one daughter. She's 6 months old. Her name's Amari. Yeah. And me and my husband met when we were going to a missionary training school with Heidi Baker.
Oh, cool.
In Mozambique, Africa.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah. He's actually English, so he's from Manchester, England, but he's been living in the States for the past about 7 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, I love that. I am excited to hear more of like how you guys got together and all that stuff. But yeah, could you share a little bit about your journey into motherhood? Like, when did you guys get married, and were you guys wanting kids right away, or what did that look like for you?
Yeah, so we've been married about 4 years now. I think we were thinking about having kids around probably now. So it was a little bit of a surprise when we got pregnant last year. I think it was just the Lord's timing, honestly. I tell people, like, we were kind of having the conversation, and it was like we were climbing the mountain and thinking maybe we'll go to the top. And then the Lord kind of just pushed us off and said, here you go.
That's awesome.
You're ready. Yeah. So it was a bit of a surprise, but honestly, it's been such perfect timing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, I like to kind of talk to moms about their passions in life and like what brings them life and joy. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about like what brings you joy, and does being a mom like fuel those things for you now? What have you found, with now becoming a mom?
Yeah, I really love people and I love relationships. And I would say like one of my biggest passions in life is helping people become fully alive in who they're created to be, and like empowering them to step fully into their purpose or calling. So I think that with motherhood, I found that it actually, rather than fueling those passions, it created new ones in me.
Good point.
Yeah. So it's like, as I stepped into motherhood, I found that actually I want to empower other moms with their journey. And whether that's just an encouraging word or something practical, like loading someone baby clothes.
Yes.
It's like the journey together of like seeing mothers come fully alive and not just, like thriving in life, not just having to get through each day. And I think like helping them just to maintain those relationships has been really helpful in my season of life.
That's so cool. Now, what are some ways, like practically that like, what does that look like practically for you?
Yeah. So I'm a part of like 2 mom groups kind of.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So one of them is like, we meet every Tuesday, and then I have another group of girls who we are all pastors' wives in the School of Ministry, and we all have little girls too. So,
yeah. Cool.
it's just like, I think finding people in your season
Uh,
has been really helpful to me and like cultivating those relationships. So it's like,
mm,
even though it's not like ministry as I'm used to of like pouring
mm,
into students, it's like I get to come alongside people where they're at in their journey and yeah, just passionately like love them and be able to practically give them things and
that's
equip
so
them. And
cool.
yeah,
Wow. Now, I'm assuming you're like stay-at-home mom at this point,
yeah,
right?
that's true. Yes.
Wow, that's so cool. How has it been like with your husband working and kind of transitioning into this life stage, taking care of your little girl?
Yeah, I think that actually I've experienced probably the most mom guilt from staying at home.
Wow. Yeah, go
Yeah.
there. We can go there.
Yeah, it's because like I'm such a goal-oriented person
Hmm.
that like if there aren't tangible ways to see my success, like earning
Oh,
money or
yeah.
like reaching a goal, or getting a lot of feedback from a job, it's just easy to
Mm,
kind of like spiral into, am I accomplishing anything? Am I doing anything? I'm so tired of these four walls in my house.
yeah.
So I think like for me, like trying to learn how to navigate that season has actually been, yeah, really challenging in a lot of ways. But I've actually come to be like my biggest cheerleader in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
Just learning to kind of celebrate myself and celebrate my accomplishments when like
Yes.
nobody's watching, nobody's gonna say
Uh,
that was amazing, Brittany. But
mm,
yeah, I think just having him working and me being at home is like not maybe what I imagined for, my life
mm,
at this stage, but it's actually been so needed and
mm.
really amazing.
I love that. Just the idea of being your own cheerleader. I think that's so important. Like the things that are unseen are typically what matters most as far
Yeah.
as like what we do and how we act and live our
Hmm.
lives. So, and as a mom, like there's so much that it's like I've heard oftentimes it's like a pretty like thankless job.
Yes.
And so I think that's so, I don't know, just such a good point. Like, if you can't be your own cheerleader at times, like, it's going to be really hard if you've relied
Yes.
on the affirmation of what comes from a job or whatever. That's
Yep.
going to be hard to,
Yeah.
pursue and like, and be present, I think, too,
Hmm.
in the moment with your kids. So I really appreciate that perspective. That's a good
Yeah.
reminder for myself, even.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so how would you say you stay inspired then, like in the day to day and like managing your time? Like, what is that? I know it's probably
Yep.
different. Like, it's so
Uh-huh.
new, right? Like, stuff's always changing, but what would you say for that?
Coffee.
Yeah,
That's how I stay inspired.
I love it.
But no, but really I think like having a set schedule for me and my baby helps a lot so I don't go crazy.
Yeah,
Even if like we don't stick to it and it's
yeah,
more of like a guideline, it just kind of gives me a peace of mind of like how the day is going to go, so I
that's
get
great.
stability from that. And then I have like a couple of non-negotiables in my week. Like I said, like I have a mom group we meet on Tuesdays, and
Mm,
then I have another group that meets on Wednesdays every week. And just kind of having those in place
mm.
gives me sanity, I think, something to look forward
Yes.
to if I need an outlet of just kind of feeling like, I need to talk to someone that I know, oh,
Yeah.
I have next week. That's coming up. And
Mm,
I think like as for like me and my husband, we try to keep like the weekends pretty free so we can like
that's
have
good.
quality time together. And
Yeah.
his job is very like demanding socially when he's like pastoring like
Yeah.
67 students. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's good to have just quality time where we can just sit and do nothing if we want. So
That's
yeah,
great. Love
yeah,
that. Is he a revival group pastor?
yes,
Oh, that's
yeah.
so cool. For what year?
First year,
Ah, that's amazing.
yeah.
Love
This is
it.
his, yeah, second year doing it. So yeah,
Oh, very cool. And how would you say you take care of your heart? I'm imagining it has some to do with what you just talked about as far
yeah,
as managing your time, but I know there sometimes are like other like practical
yes,
things that we
yeah,
can do to take care of our hearts. So, do you have
yeah.
anything like that?
I think that like I've really learned the art of expressing what my heart needs and then listening to it, you
Mm,
know. I mean, like I was saying earlier, there is a lot of times when I'm doing things that nobody's celebrating and no one's saying, Brittany,
Yeah.
you stuck it out 5 minutes longer while your baby was crying.
Yes.
Great sleep training, you know? And so
Oh.
I've just kind of also learned in that, like, I'm not superwoman actually. And I do need
Mm.
to ask for help sometimes. And I do need
Yeah.
to ask my husband for help, even, when he comes home,
Mm.
just even though he's had a hard day. I've also had a hard day,
Yeah,
it's like
totally.
we're just learning like what tasks we can kind of switch with in our
Mhm.
relationship and just
Mhm.
trying to figure out like, yeah, that I'm not superwoman. Even if I have a high capacity, I actually
Yeah.
was not made to do this all on my own. So,
Yeah. That's
yeah.
great. Very good. Okay, now you mentioned mom guilt at the beginning.
Mhm.
So I'd love to talk about that. What does that look like for you? And what are some things that you do to combat it?
Yes. I think I constantly kind of struggle with that. I feel like I'm not doing enough. That's
Hmm.
like, I don't know if you've heard of the Enneagram, but
Yes, I'm obsessed with the
yes,
Enneagram.
me
It's the
too.
best.
Oh, okay, so I'm a 7.
Oh,
So
yes. Okay, cool.
that sevens like always come up against is they feel like they're not doing enough or they're like someone's trying to take their freedom. So
Mm,
that's kind of hard when you're a stay-at-home mom because you don't get a ton of freedom because you're at home a lot and you're like, what am I accomplishing?
mm,
So I think learning how to not compare myself has been huge in this season of life. When I like try to stay in my lane, so to speak,
mm-hmm.
and keep trying to like ask the Lord, what are you saying? What am I learning in this season? Um, like, how can I value what I'm doing? Like, see more value in it. So it's
Mm,
like, see it as a privilege and not like just a
mm.
duty. If that makes
That's
sense.
good. Yes.
Yeah. And I think
Very.
like, I just have heard God say multiple times, like, you're never going to look back on this season and wish you were working more.
That's
And so
powerful.
yeah. So just learning to like hear the Lord in your season and know where you're at. It's like if you are working, then like
Mm,
fully embrace that and know that God has like gifts for you in that. But if
yeah.
He's calling you to be a home, like fully embrace that and see it as like a privilege and an honor to be raising like
Mm,
another life.
that's so beautiful. Very
Yeah.
good stuff. Awesome. Okay, so I also love to talk about legacy.
Yes.
And like, what do you guys think about when you hear the word legacy? Like, do you dream about what kind of heritage you'll leave for your kids, specifically for your daughter now? Like, yeah,
Mhm.
like what comes up when you hear that word?
I think that for me, I was thinking I want to be known as someone who is powerful, strong, and loving, and who
Mm,
didn't bow to societal norms, but like always follows the Lord. No matter like what the battle is.
mm,
Just someone who could leave a legacy for their kids to know they're loved beyond compare,
mm,
and that they are fully like equipped to face every battle life's going to throw at them.
mm,
Yeah, and I think I just want to be that kind of mom that's always the safe place to run to.
mm.
So
Yeah.
just really instill in them that fearlessness that I think my parents instilled in me.
Mm. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. This kind of a random question. Do you guys knowing that your husband is from out of the country, like, do you guys think that you'll ever move back to like his home?
I mean, we've definitely talked about it. It is a huge like discussion that we have.
Yeah.
It's definitely hard being married to someone where it's like your home is not their home and
Mm.
vice versa. We're never going to have the same upbringing of home. So we have to
Yeah.
create a new normal.
Yeah, that's so
And
true.
so I think if the Lord calls us back to England, then I will have to start all over again, which would be tough.
Mm.
Just with friends and family,
Yeah.
obviously irreplaceable, but it is something that could happen. And right now we feel pretty settled in Reading, like that we'll probably be here a couple more years at least, but who
Mm.
knows about the future?
Yeah, totally. Sorry, that was kind of a random question.
No, yeah.
I've talked to a couple people now from Reading. I just talked to, do you know Malin and David Eckler?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so I was in first year with both of them,
Oh,
and
so great.
we were in the same revival group, and I was like, oh, cool, now I can interview Malin. So I
Yeah.
did, but I asked her some of the same questions, just like because, well, they're both from Sweden, so that's like I don't know, like I always imagine like all their families out there too. So I was
Yeah.
like, what does that look like in such a transient
Mhm.
culture too?
Yeah.
Like how does that look, and how do you take care of your heart in that kind of environment and all that? My brother and his wife both live up there, and so I'm always asking them how does that work, like.
Yeah.
So anyways, sorry, totally random. I don't even know
No,
if I'll
it's
keep that
great.
in, but I just wanted to ask.
I love
um
it.
Cool. Okay, well, I like to end with some fun questions.
Hmm.
So the first would be, do you have like a favorite product for yourself or for your little baby that you feel like you could
Hmm.
not live without at this time?
I would have to say the Halo sleep sack swaddle. we
Yes.
we're using that like every nap and at bedtime, so that's like a lifesaver for us.
Ah,
Uh,
yes.
yes. Also, her jumperoo, Fisher Price, she loves that so much.
Oh,
It's like gave me sanity in my life
yeah.
whenever she would let me put her down, and now
Mm-hmm.
she can like go in there for like 40 minutes, and she loves jumping.
Oh, that's so great. We did the sleep sacks too, like early on. I need to get some more because she's already grown out of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, those things are fantastic.
Yes.
Good stuff. Cool. And then do you guys, I know it's still new, but do you guys have a holiday tradition that you maybe hope to start with your family, or do you have one already in place
Yeah.
that you like to continue?
Well, since we got married, we actually have been doing this thing that's really, really cool to me. It's on Thanksgiving, we put up the Christmas tree, but we don't put
Yes.
any ornaments on it. We only put little notes of what we're thankful for throughout the year.
Oh my
So then,
gosh.
yeah, so it's called like a Thanksgiving tree, and we have that.
Aw.
Yeah. And then it kind of brings you into like the Christmas season with just like thankfulness on your heart,
Ah,
and gratitude. And then we
yeah.
put the ornaments and everything just on top of the little pieces of paper,
Wow.
so they're still there to remind you even after.
That's such a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally gonna steal it.
Yes, totally take it. You can have
I will.
it.
I mean, that's selfishly why I asked this question, because I'm like, I think traditions are great, and I'm like, oh, what
uh,
what are some good ones I can take? So that's a great one.
oh, thanks.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last thing would be, what's a piece of advice that you would give to a brand new mama?
I would just say like you are the perfect parent for your child, like
Hmm.
because there is no formula that fits every baby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like just allowing yourself grace to be the kind of parent you're actually created to be, because I feel like we're so diverse as people, we can't be expected to all be the same type of mom, and
Hmm.
every baby isn't going to be the same type of baby. So it's like I felt a lot of like guilt or comparison if I would just constantly be looking at these books all the time or talking to other
Hmm.
parents, and they're like, yeah, my baby's sleeping 12 hours a night, and it's
Oh
like
yeah, I know.
if that's not happening for you, you can feel like, am I failing? Am I
Totally.
constantly not doing what's right? But actually, it's like, hey, you got to do what works for you, and your baby is
Hmm.
going to be different than every other baby in the world. So
Yeah.
just trying to, yeah, keep that in mind as you go forward. It's like you are the perfect parent for your baby.
Hmm. That is
Yeah,
beautiful advice. Love that.
yeah, yeah,
Brittany, thank you so much for
yeah.
doing this with me, and taking the time out of your day to chat. And yeah,
You're
I'm
so welcome.
so excited to share this. Um, now, can we find you on like social media?
Yes,
Okay,
on
cool.
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We will connect the links so that people can go see you and your beautiful family
Oh, thank
and
you.
connect. Yes,
Oh, it's
awesome.
great talking to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It was such a pleasure to have you listen in. If you'd like more information about this guest and other guests, you can check that out on Facebook and Instagram at Mommispace. And you can also email me at mommispace@gmail.com if you want more details or have any questions or would just like to get in touch. I'm always looking for new connections. Also, it would mean so much if you could leave us either a rating or review or both on iTunes. This just gets the word out about the show. It's a way that we can get more connected with more mamas out there. And it really helps me out as I am doing this on my own. And sometimes I just need a little lift up, y'all. It's good to hear from you that way. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I hope you have an amazing week. Remember, you are loved, you are enough, and you are doing your very best. See you next week, Mama.